Union has the widest disparity in conventional mortgage approval rates between white and black borrowers of any major lender. This is the nation's largest credit union. It serves military members, defense personnel, veterans, and their families. And CNN's Renee Marsh found that it rejected more than half its black conventional mortgage applicants last year.
But it really is a nice neighborhood, you know.
Baba Tandi, a Kenyan immigrant turned Texas entrepreneur, knew this was his dream home the moment he saw it. It's in a highly sought-after school district that his son so desperately wanted to attend for its basketball program.
So how many homes did you look at before you found this one and said this was it?
We had about 6, but this was the one that we all.
So the Dago Federal Credit Union, they have over 354. I'm sorry.
In the country.
Yeah. I was the CEO of my company, so I had a pretty good income.
Your credit was in the 700s. You'd recently sold your house. You had $100,000 for the down payment, which was more than 20%.
Correct. I mean, what more could you ask for?
CNN reviewed Otandi's financial documents. He even had a pre-approval letter from Navy Federal in hand. But just 2 weeks before closing,
We got a denial. They sent me a letter saying, "We're sorry, but your application has been denied."
Were you stunned, surprised?
I mean, I was stunned. I was shocked. I was hurt.
the denial letter listed excessive obligations in relation to income as the reason.
When they denied is when we came back and said, oh man, there's something else going on.
And what did you think that something else was?
Discrimination.
But it wasn't just Otandi. Thousands of other black applicants were also rejected. According to a CNN analysis of federal consumer protection data, last year, Navy Federal Credit Union only approved 48%. That's less than half of its black applicants for conventional home mortgages. White borrowers were approved more than 75% of the time. It's the biggest gap among the top 50 lenders. The data also shows Navy Federal was more than twice as likely to deny black mortgage applicants than white ones, even when different variables, including income, debt, property value, and down payment percentage, were the same.
I feel validated at one point, but also I feel a bit of anger because it shouldn't be happening.
2 weeks after Navy Federal rejected him, another bank approved Otandi for a mortgage. Navy Federal Credit Union denied CNN's request for an on-camera interview. In a statement, it said it is committed to equal and equitable lending practices, and that CNN's recent analysis does not account for major criteria required by any financial institution to approve a mortgage loan. That includes credit scores, which are not public. Navy Federal declined to provide additional data. We asked Navy Federal why Bob Otandi's loan was denied, but they declined to comment, citing member privacy. CNN's analysis does not prove discrimination, but it does show dramatic racial disparities in who Navy Federal rejects and approves for conventional mortgage loans.
The black-white homeownership gap and the Latino-white homeownership gap today are both wider than they were in 1968 when we passed the Federal Fair Housing Act.
Lisa Rice has spent decades as a fair housing advocate. She says the disparities in Navy Federal's lending data are alarming and an extreme example of a bigger problem.
It's definitely a larger systemic issue, and we know that we have a long history of redlining and a long history of lending discrimination in this nation. Well, all of that data that is sort of tainted with bias is being used to develop the credit scoring systems.
We got the house, thank God, and we moved on. But what about the ones who are denied? What about the ones who now can't get their own dream house? It's something that's going to affect the generation all the way down to the kids.
Well, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which oversees consumer lending, says that they do not comment on specific institutions, but they do conduct their own investigations to ensure that banks and credit unions are following fair lending practices. Jake.
What should people do if they think they have been discriminated against?
Well, you have your local housing and urban development, as well as the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Those are two agencies in which you should file a complaint if you feel you've been discriminated against. I've had people reach out to me since we filed this story and said, should we avoid putting any demographic information on our documents? And the downside of that is that we then no longer have that data to track like we did with this story today.
Fascinating stuff. Renee Marsh, thank you so much. Horrible.
So yeah, so a little bit history about Navy Federal Credit Union. They started in March 13th, 1933. Their headquarters is in Virginia. They have over 354 locations worldwide, and their total assets they have altogether is $165.3 billion from this year for 2023. So you about to chop it up, chop it up. So, Roddy, what's your take on this topic we talk about with the Naval Federal Credit Union denying black applicants but approving white applicants, even though they might not be making six figures?
Now, at the same time, I would say I try to listen very closely when they do reports like these, especially when it comes to owning or pretty much home ownership. You know, someone like me who I'm trying to like right now who's saving up to buy a home. I do a lot of research when it comes to things like that. And not only that, but I'm planning on having someone to come in probably very soon to talk about like how can us you know black people pretty much acquire a home. And one of the things that when I actually went to go do research and actually went to a bank to see what is the steps in requiring them getting a home, you know, I didn't go to Navy Bank, but I went to like Bank of America. And one thing they always say is three things they look for. They look for credit score, are you married, single, or married, and also the state of income. Now, there's times where have good income, but your credit score might not be up to par. So that could also get your application denied. Or there's another thing too. You could be single and not married. That could also get your application denied because they because the bankers pretty much when they trying to lend you a home, they think you might not be capable of maintaining a home just by you being single. Now in this case, which I do know that red lines still do exist because the simple fact is, you know, I live in a dominantly black area that there's not a lot of opportunity when it comes to giving out loans for African American, Haitians, Americans, you name it, Nigerian, you name it, all different ethnic because of the simple fact is in their mind, bankers think, oh, or the lenders, they think, oh, we're not going to be able to maintain the home because of the lack of quote unquote resources. So for them, Navy Bank to be able to give 70, like 77% of their applicants to white, I think it's biased and I think it's not fair. However, like Hakeem always say, if you have an issue within the community, why not create your own bank that you could go to that will have no issue of you getting pre-approved and you won't have to deal with anything like that. Luckily, this gentleman here was able to find another bank and got approved, but there's a lot of applicants who are black are still waiting and they got the applicants denied and they don't even know what to do. So that's why I say it's very important to sit with a financial advisor and not only that, but to find somewhere that you know you would get approved too. And now I know one of the issues that we always face in America is there's not enough black banks. I think we need to start creating more. And I think that will solve the issue so we won't have to deal because I know Jordan, especially in LA, especially when I went to go see you, I noticed there are a lot that they have a lot of Chinese banks, Asian banks, Hispanic banks.
Heavy.
So their issues are solved while black people won't do the same thing. Go ahead, I can.
Definitely forgive me, my visual is messed up, but this is the thing we talk about this all the time. And I know there's always a consensus that because we got one United Bank, that's one of the largest black-owned banks in America. They got one in every major city. Yes, they don't have enough branches because not enough people sign up to them, but they give mortgages. There's black-owned credit unions. They're there. Nobody wants to go check on them. And ironically, you know who goes to the black-owned banks and gets loans? the Arabs, they go there and get loans to open up their stores and right in your community. I've seen this happen before. So we need to start thinking about this and say, hey, nobody never thought about going to your own bank, banking with your own bank to see if you'll get discriminated against. No, we go to what's closest to us and we'll try to understand and what's this. Now, mind you, I also want to try to be very fair. And financial institutions can not award anything to you. They have the right to not give you anything. Like, let's just get that straight. Let's just get that out of the straight. For whatever reason, they do a background check or a financial check that's in your past. If they see some type of financial risk, they will deny you. Who knows why they denied the man? But this was a tech startup guru. But we have to look at it from this perspective. Nobody don't owe you nothing, but you'll have a better chance going to your peoples.
That's facts. I'm trying to find a list of black banks that are here in the United States. But one of them, here's a list of banks I'm gonna name, and they, like I said, they're in Florida, they're in Massachusetts, they're in Alabama, they're in California. I believe they're in 22, I think it's 22 states. And here are the black banks are. We have One United Bank, you have Carver State Bank, you have Citizen Trust Bank, you have First Independence Bank, you have Industrial Bank, you have Liberty Bank, you have City First Bank, you have First Choice Credit Union, you have United National Bank, and then you have Brooklyn Federal Credit Unions, and there's so many more. And the reason I'm naming this is because there are black banks out there, people. Do we have enough? We don't have enough. I'm gonna go by what Ronnie says. It's a heavy Asian banks in Koreatown, in Monterey Park, where I was just at an hour ago, because me and my wife, we had to do go to paternity appointment for the baby, and it's like they have their own city. in some of these Asian parts in LA, Chinatown, and everything. Do we have that in LA? Okay, we have a small part. We have Crenshaw. I'm sorry, I'm bubbling. I'm gonna call it park. There's like Crenshaw. That's like our street for black people and everything. And we have One United Bank there on Crenshaw, and then there's one on Carter Boulevard, One United Bank. And I think it's like I said, I don't think there's enough black people going to banks. And to me, I think banks need to really promote, because you see all these top banks, you see them on television, you see them on social media, you see them on their phones. They always promote their stuff of if you choosing their bank. If you type in on your phone the app, the first place gonna type up is Chase and Bank of America, because they're the most popular. And if you want, and I'm telling you, for people that's watching us, are black people or any race, if you want to make these banks and credit unions, black banks, credit unions more popular, go find them. If they're not hard to find, they might be somewhere in your area, especially in these major cities. Because if you go to like Navy Federal Bank, and even though you make six figures, 120,000 or 140,000, maybe 150,000. And you do all your criteria and everything, or if you're married and everything, they still might deny you. So that just tells me, okay, if they go deny me, let's see if I can find another bank that has the same color in my skin or something like that, because then you can help. They can help you out and everything. And also, if your credit's not good, they can help you out with that. Some of these white banks are not gonna do that for you. They're gonna say, go by the bootstraps, They're gonna say, hey, keep trying harder and everything. All I'm trying to say is I just named these banks this earlier. There's other black banks out there, credit unions, that will help you out. You just gotta do your information. You got Google. You got Google on your phone. You just gotta type it in and find the best one you can and everything. But wherever's the closest to. Wherever you're closest to, find that bank, because they'll definitely help you out. I'm not surprised about this story. I don't think none of us we're surprised about this story about with Navy Federal Union. They denying black applicants, especially they make six figures. But that's just to tell you, like, hey, if they didn't deny you the first time, To me, that should be it. You should find another bank, a black bank or a black credit union, and apply there and put your money in there too, because it's going to help you out in the long run. And also, that's going to help you out in the long haul. It's going to help the bank out in the long run too. And like I said, black banks, please continue to promote. Put $100,000 into commercials, on streaming, on cable TV, on YouTube and everything. Hopefully for us, when we get big, Chaos Culture Radio, once we get like the ad revenue and everything, we get enough subscribers, we won't want a bank, that we will want a bank, to have maybe in our promotion and kind of push that out there and everything, because it's important to push like stuff that's our own, and keep pushing it out there, keep promoting, continue to promote, not stop promote, because if you want to get with the big leagues, that's what you got to do.
Yeah, not only that, but I want to get